and link reaction, the second reaction following the glycolysis before TCA, both are mediated by insulin and both are not mediated by glucagon. Okay, so for glucagon we can write down activates or mediates all catabolic pathway except glycolysis and link reaction. Glycolysis and link reaction, because these two are mediated by insulin. Right? Also remember two more things. Insulin decreases cyclic AMP and causes dephosphorylation reactions, whereas glucagon increases cyclic AMP and causes phosphorylation. Okay, the reaction goes like this. You have ATP forming cyclic AMP. ATP forming cyclic AMP. Enzyme here is adenyl cyclase. Important MCQ. This is activated by glucagon. Okay, that is why glucagon is going to increase cyclic AMP. Okay, adenyl cyclase has been asked in the exam, which is of the following enzyme is activated by glucagon. Answer was adenyl cyclase. Right? This cyclic AMP will cause or activate protein kinases and will cause phosphorylation. That is why we say glucagon causes phosphorylation. Whereas if the cyclic AMP is in excess, one enzyme called phosphodiesterase will convert it to 5-AMP. This enzyme is activated by insulin, and this is dephosphorylation. So insulin causes dephosphorylation and decreases cyclic AMP, whereas glucagon activates adenyl cyclase, increases cyclic AMP and causes phosphorylation. Okay, now along with glucagon, remember there are other hormones like epinephrine, norepinephrine, okay, growth hormone, glucocorticoid and thyroid. All these hormones increase cyclic AMP and cause phosphorylation. Basically, insulin is on one side, rest all hormones are on the other side. Okay. Then one last thing in this anabolic and catabolic is all anabolic pathways occur in cytoplasm. Which compartment of the cell? They occur in cytoplasm. All catabolic occur in mitochondria. Okay. Exception is there again, except there are two pathways of catabolic, that is glycolysis and glycolysis. glycogenolysis. These two occur in cytoplasm. So we can say all catabolic pathways take place in mitochondria except glycolysis and glycogenolysis, because these two are taking part in mitochondria. Then there are pathways which occur in two compartments, that is mitochondria as well as cytoplasm. Okay, one is gluconeogenesis, second is urea cycle, and third is heme synthesis. These three cycles or pathways are basically taking part in two compartments. One is mitochondria, second is cytoplasm. And always remember, if there is a pathway which is taking part in two compartments, which is like undergoing processing in two compartments, first compartment will always be mitochondria. Like it will start from mitochondria and then it will continue further in cytoplasm. Like gluconeogenesis, question was there last year in NEET. The first enzyme of gluconeogenesis, okay, pyruvate carboxylase, is present where? It is present in the mitochondria, because it starts from mitochondria and it continues further in the cytoplasm. Okay, so it will start from mitochondria and it will finish in cytoplasm, right? Then you have two pathways, TCA cycle and electron transport chain. TCA, I told you, it's your Krebs cycle. These two are called as vital pathways. Vital means they are very, very essential for the cell, and cell do not require any special state of food for their process to carry out these two cycles. Like they are independent of, they are not dependent on fed state or fasting or starvation. Basically they are not dependent on hormones as well, right? I hope you guys are getting it. Gluconeogenesis is an exception. Gluconeogenesis is a catabolic pathway, but it does not take place only in mitochondria. It is taking part in two compartments. Dr. Akshar. It does not take place only in mitochondria. It is taking part in two compartments. Dr. Akshar. See, we have discussed gluconeogenesis is a catabolic pathway, so it should be present in mitochondria, but it is not present only in mitochondria. It is completely starting in mitochondria, but it completes in the cytoplasm. Right? Any other query? So let's answer one question. Which of the following not occur in mitochondria? Beta oxidation of fatty acids. Okay. Triglyceride synthesis, DNA synthesis. Okay, protein synthesis. Dr. Subhang, heme synthesis, two compartment pathway. heme synthesis. Answer this question. Which of the following Look, sweetie, there was a catch like in this. Many students will mark this, but this is not taking place in cytoplasm or mitochondria. This is taking place in the nucleus. Okay, so don't get confused. Answer is this. Most of you have got right. All of you have got right. Okay, answer this question then. HSL is not activated by glucagon, catecholamines, thyroid, insulin. Question number 2. Correct. Means you guys are listening also. Understanding तो है ही है. Good. Last question for this small topic. Which of the following is not seen in low insulin is to glucagon ratio? Try understand the question and mark accordingly. Gluconeogenesis, glycogen breakdown, ketogenesis, glycogen storage. Yeah, 4 is correct. Insulin. Dr. Sweetie, Dr. Akshar, Dr. Bhagyashri, Dr. Soumya. Glycogen storage. Shruti Mathur, the answer is this. It's not 3. Why 3 basically? See, let us define catabolic and anabolic. Like gluconeogenesis is catabolic. Glycogen breakdown, catabolic. Ketogenesis, I told you, ketone body synthesis and ketone body utilization, both are catabolic. Glycogen storage, that means glycogen synthesis means glycogenesis, is your anabolic. Okay, low insulin glucagon ratio means insulin is less, glucagon is more. So glucagon more means it will support catabolism. It will support this, it will not support this. So this becomes your answer. I hope you understood this MCQ. AIMS 2019 MCQ. Okay. AIMS 2019. Right? Understood? Now next topic in your basics is sources of blood glucose. Number one is food. Okay, when you eat food, the first main source of blood glucose is food, that is your fat state. Then you have liver glycogen. This provides glucose for 12 to 18 hours, that is during your fasting state. And third is gluconeogenesis. See, I'll use this from now onwards, GNG, gluconeogenesis. Okay, this comes in the last part because it requires high energy. See, glucose breakdown produces energy, but glucose formation from other sources, that is gluconeogenesis, requires a lot of energy. Okay, then what is the main fuel in fed state, fasting state and starvation state? When you are in fed state, the mainly body uses glucose, or you can say carbohydrates. When you are doing fasting, the body mainly uses fats. When you are starving, then your proteins start getting broken down. This is a basic thing which everybody knows. But what we don't know and what we have to study is what is the main fuel for the organs. So draw a small chart, a table like fed state, write fasting and write starvation on top, 3. Okay, then we'll make 3 columns like this. Then here we have organ. First organ is brain, then you have heart, then you have liver, muscle, adipose tissue, and last you can write down as RBC. Okay, red blood cell. We know main fuel for fed is what? It's glucose. Main fuel for fasting is fats. Main fuel for starvation is proteins. Okay, fats we can notate through fatty acids. Proteins we can use amino acid as the notation. Okay, glucose is glucose. This is the main fuel, like usually what the body should follow and body organs cells usually follow. Now let us see what happens in different organs at different state of food. Okay, this main fuel rule, or you can say the main fuel logic, is actually applied only to one organ, that is called liver. Liver uses glucose in fed state, fatty acids in fasting state, and amino acids in the protein state. This is the basic structure, you can say, of liver, is such that it will use what is being in abundance during what state of body. If your body is in fed state, it's having a lot of carbohydrates, it will use glucose. If your body is fasting, it will start using fats. Okay, if your body is starvation, it will start using protein. So basically liver is a very selfish organ. It will use what is there in abundance in during what state. But basically you can say it's so selfish that it will take care of itself first, because it has to support many other functions for the other organs when it comes to biochemistry especially. Okay, then let us see what happens to other organs. In fed state, brain will use glucose, muscle will use glucose, adipose will use glucose, RBC will use glucose. Okay, but your heart will use fatty acid. So this becomes an MCQ, right? Just 1 second. phone display is going off again and again. Yeah, right. So when it comes to fasting, the main fuel is fats, but only liver is using fats. What else is using fats? Muscle is using fats. Adipose itself is a fatty tissue, so it will use fats. But heart, hair will continue to use fats. Brain will continue burning glucose, and RBC will continue burning glucose. Right? Now see what happens in starvation. Brain will burn ketone bodies. Heart will burn ketone bodies. Muscle will burn fatty acid plus ketone bodies. Adipose, lot of abundance of fats, it will continue burning fatty acids. And RBC again will burn glucose. Okay. Now let us see why this mechanism is altered. Though heart should use glucose in normal fed state, but still heart uses fatty acids. The reason is heart is an organ which has to work 24/7. Unlike brain, okay? Brain takes rest. When you sleep, your brain is resting. When you are not studying, your brain is resting. When you are not doing WhatsApp and other things, your brain is resting. But heart, even when you are not studying, heart has to work. So heart has to be dependent on a fuel whose calorific value is more. And you all know fat calorific value is maximum, that is value of 9. Okay. So basically heart needs a fuel, heart needs a substrate which is going to produce more energy, so that it can continuously work 24/7 under all circumstances. So when it comes to fed state, heart prefers to use fatty acids, does not use glucose, because fatty acids are going to produce more energy per molecule than glucose. But other organs, they follow the simple rule that in fed state everybody will be using glucose. Now RBC is a typical organ using glucose in all circumstances. The logic is very simple. RBC lacks mitochondria. Okay, so all the catabolic pathways plus those 3 pathways also, gluconeogenesis, urea cycle and heme synthesis, they are absent in RBC. So RBC is dependent only on the mechanism which is related to cytoplasm, and cytoplasm has what? Glycolysis and link reaction basically. Okay, link reaction is also not going to happen because TCA is happening in your mitochondria, right? Tricarboxylic acid cycle. So basically RBC is left with nothing but glycolysis, and glycolysis takes part in cytoplasm. So glycolysis के लिए what you need is glucose, you don't need any other thing. So RBC under all circumstances uses glucose. See, body has structured its organs in such a way that RBC is very, very essential. You all know. No RBC means no life. Okay, nothing will happen. So basically RBC is given a fuel which is used in very minimal quantity for glycolysis. Plus RBC can sustain on a simplest fuel. It does not need a complex mechanism of other procedures because it lacks mitochondria. Here, brain continues to use fasting. Use glucose in fasting is the reason is very simple. Brain lacks fatty acids, cannot cross blood-brain barrier. Okay, but glucose can. So fatty acids cannot cross blood-brain barrier. So fats is never the fuel for brain. See, anywhere we have not written fats when it comes to brain. Brain, either it will continue using glucose or it will switch over to an alternate fuel called ketone bodies. Okay, now coming to the last part, that is starvation. I hope these 2 parts are clear by now. Starvation may be introduce ketone bodies, and the two most vital organs of the human body, heart and brain, switch to ketone bodies. The reason is very logical. See, if you remember the logic, you don't have to cram this chart. You will make on your own in the exam. Okay. See, what is happening is during fasting or starvation. During fasting or starvation, you can say okay, during fasting or starvation, you have adipose tissues, the reserves of fat. Adipose tissue will break down and produce fatty acids. Which enzyme is responsible here? HSL. You remember HSL is related to catabolism, that is breakdown, and all catabolic are related to fasting and starvation. So adipose tissue, there is an enzyme present called hormone sensitive lipase. This will release fatty acids. Okay, these fatty acids will come into the blood. Through the blood, they will enter into an organ called liver. They will enter liver. In liver, these fatty acids will undergo beta oxidation. That is the term we have used earlier also, beta oxidation of fatty acids. Beta oxidation of fatty acids form acetyl coenzyme A. The same acetyl coenzyme A, glucose glycolysis forming pyruvate, pyruvate forming acetyl coenzyme A. This was your link reaction, if you remember. Okay, and I told you glycolysis and link reaction both are mediated by insulin, right? Same acetyl coenzyme A. When your body is doing fasting or starvation, your fats burn. What will make the fat burn and break down to fatty acid is hormone sensitive lipase. Is doing, I told you, glycolysis and link reaction both are mediated by insulin, right? Same acetyl coenzyme A. When your body is doing fasting or starvation, your fats burn. What will make the fat burn and break down to fatty acid is hormone sensitive lipase. Your fatty acids will come into the blood. There is a mechanism we will discuss in lipids. These fatty acids will go into the liver. Liver will undergo beta oxidation of fatty acids. That is, the site of beta oxidation of fatty acids in body is liver. And upon beta oxidation of fatty acids, what is formed is called as acetyl coenzyme A. Now this acetyl coenzyme A has got three roles to play, and they are in serial order 1, 2, 3. First, acetyl coenzyme A will do what? First, it will enter into TCA cycle. Remember, we discussed this will enter into TCA cycle, that is your Krebs cycle. What it will do, it will enter into TCA cycle and produce lot of energy for what? For liver cells. I told you liver is a selfish organ. Okay, whatever it does, first it will do self-sufficiency. First it will support its own energy requirement or demand. Okay, you must have traveled by air. Most of you or all of you have traveled by air. Okay, before your plane takes off, two beautiful ladies or three ladies come and tell you about the safety instructions. Okay, they tell you when the air pressure in the cabin will go low, your mask, oxygen mask will pop up. They will fall down. So next thing what they tell you is related to liver. Okay, what they tell you is first wear your mask and then help others. Okay, that is what the liver does. First it will help himself, then it will start helping other organs. Okay, so behave like liver when you are in an aeroplane. So acetyl coenzyme A, first fate, this is what we call is that there are three fates of acetyl coenzyme A after in the liver basically. One is TCA cycle to support the energy demand or requirement for the liver cells. Second is formation of synthesis of ketone body synthesis. Okay, now here remember, like when the person is doing too much of starvation, it will have too much of breakdown of continuous breakdown of fatty acids is taking place in the body, in the liver, it will produce a lot of ketone bodies. Ketone bodies as such are toxic. Ketogenesis, you have read in diabetes, in medicine, it is not good for the body. But yes, that is a product, that is the fate of acetyl coenzyme A. You cannot change that. So what are two smart organs, brain and heart, do is they utilize these ketone bodies to produce energy for their cells. Okay, because they know right now during starvation a lot of ketone bodies are being produced by the body. So your God has made such a mechanism that these excess of ketone bodies, which may cause a lot of harm to the body, are still being taken care of by the two most vital organs of the human body, that is heart and brain, to produce energy. Okay, so that is the utilization. Again, your muscle is going to use primarily continue using fatty acid. Then when their fat reserves are depleted, they will switch over to ketone bodies, because in the muscle also fatty acid breakdown take place, because muscle is covered by adipose tissue all over your body. Okay, and where, like, when your fats are broken down, ketone bodies are bound to be produced. So first they start switching to fatty acids, continue with fatty acids from fasting to starvation, and then they switch over to ketone bodies. This is an important MCQ, and this answer is given wrong in your all MCQ books like Pulse and Vadhavan and Gauri Shankar also. What they have written is muscle uses only fatty acids, which is wrong. Muscle uses fatty acids plus ketone body. Okay, so if you get a question like this, and during prolonged fasting, muscle utilizes what? First option, glucose, fatty acids plus ketone body, amino acid. Mark this. But if your this option is altered, say suppose your third option is ketone bodies, then mark this. See, this is how you solve the controversy. This is how you solve the controversy. You know, the best way to solve a controversial question is what? You should know what is the controversy. Controversy is, some books say, MCQ books, Harper says FA plus KV. Okay, your major book says FA plus KV, but some MCQ book says only FA. So if you have this as an option, without doubt mark this. But if you don't have such an option, then definitely you will not mark KV, you will mark this. Dr. Maria, the question seems logical, but try understand everything is happening simultaneously. When we were in fasting, liver was using fatty acids. Okay, it was using fatty acids, and it was using, muscle was also using, every organ is using fatty acid. Right? So definitely the fatty acid reserves will go down over a period of time. Okay, fatty acid reserves are going to go down. So when you prolong your fasting, definitely the body will not have that much fatty acid reserves. That is why if you see in starvation, body stops using fatty acids except for adipose tissue which has it, plus muscle which has it. The body stops transportation of fatty acids. See this, adipose tissue will break down to fatty acid and it will be transported from the adipose tissue via blood to the liver. When you are in starvation, your body mechanisms are shut down. The body does not want to do some extra work to basically transport things also. Okay, they will try to maintain the things wherever they are. Okay, if the adipose tissue has fatty acids, they will ask, body will ask adipose tissue to continue using that rather than producing fatty acids for other organs. It is not needed. But yes, since before starvation liver has already produced lot of acetyl coenzyme A. Acetyl coenzyme A will just do in the next minute of this topic. It is not a source of energy. It is a compound which enters the other pathways to produce energy. Okay. I hope the point is clear to everybody, including Dr. Maria. Nice question, by the way. Nobody asked this earlier. So where were we? Liver is done. So liver will use what is now left for the body, that is proteins. Now you have abundance of proteins and nobody else is using proteins. Okay. RBC as such will continue using glucose. Now there is a small concept of fetal heart. Okay, there is a small concept of fetal heart. Okay, but before fetal heart, I'll tell you, our heart, normal adult heart, has got some channels, transport channels. They are called GLUT4 channels, glucose transporter channels. Oh yes, sorry Dr. Shruti. Third fate of acetyl coenzyme. First fate is TCA. When it is fulfilled its demand, it will switch to ketone body synthesis. Then if it has produced lot of ketone bodies for other organs, it will activate. Please note down here. It will activate gluconeogenesis. It will not start, it will not enter, it will just activate. Okay, it will just activate gluconeogenesis. Right? Now adult heart has got GLUT channels, glucose transporter channels. That is the channels which transport glucose from outside to inside of the cell. Now strange thing is, adult heart has got GLUT4 channel which is for the transport of glucose, but heart is nowhere using glucose. In fed state, heart is using fatty acid. In fasting, it is using fatty acids. It is starvation, it is using ketone body. So heart is never using glucose as a fuel. Still it has GLUT4 channel because it retains from the fetal heart. Fetal heart, the main fuel all throughout is glucose. And GLUT4 channels are there right from the fetal heart itself, because fetal heart is dependent on placenta. Okay, and you don't want placenta to get overloaded, so fetal heart is totally dependent on one fuel, that is glucose. So if a question comes, what is the fuel for fetal heart? Answer is glucose. What is the fuel for a 9-month-old fetus? Answer is glucose. What is the fuel for a 1-day child for heart? Answer is fatty acids. See, if they are not writing anything, if they are simply ask you what is your fuel, what is the main fuel of your heart right now? Answer is fatty acid, because we always take, if there nothing is written in the question, we always mean it's a fed state, because human is such a animal who will eat at least once in 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. We never usually remain in fasting until unless on special days like Navratri. Navratri is also full of food and all, or very special days like coming next Sunday, I think, Karwa Chauth type fast, or in Ramzan. When we have special days, we do fasting. Otherwise, when there is nothing written in the question, take it as granted they are talking about fed state. Okay, 1-day-old child heart uses what? Answer is fatty acid. The other 1 second old child uses what? Answer is fatty acid. Right? Till the time fetus, the word used is fetus, it is glucose. The moment the child is born, the umbilical cord is cut, it switches over to fatty acid. Right? Done. I hope there is no confusion in that. Now let us do what was being important. Acetyl coenzyme. What exactly is, what all are important on acetyl coenzyme? Okay, we have glucose. Glucose converts to pyruvate, that is through glycolysis. Okay, pyruvate forms acetyl coenzyme A. Pyruvate is a 3 carbon, this is a 2 carbon, it is a breakdown reaction. This reaction is called as link reaction because it is a link between glycolysis and TCA. Okay, enzyme here is important, it is called PDH complex. Pyruvate dehydrogenase. DH everywhere means dehydrogenase in biochemistry. This will enter TCA. Okay, this will enter TCA. And this is happening what when we are talking about fed state. Now see fasting or starvation. I told you they are overlapping words. Okay, what happens is before fasting, pyruvate has formed acetyl coenzyme A. Enzyme here is PDH complex. So when you are producing a lot of acetyl coenzyme A, it will inhibit this enzyme. Okay, it will inhibit this enzyme. Or when there is fasting or starvation, acetyl coenzyme A will inhibit PDH. So this reaction will not go in right direction. This reaction will stop. No more pyruvate is being converted to acetyl coenzyme A. Rather, what acetyl coenzyme will do with, it will activate one enzyme called pyruvate carboxylase. Important enzyme, 2019 or 20 NEET exam, NEET MDS 2020 I think. Okay, this will activate this enzyme and pyruvate will start forming oxaloacetate, 4 carbon compound. This is nothing but your first step of gluconeogenesis, and first step is taking place where? Mitochondria. Otherwise gluconeogenesis is taking place in 2 compartments, starts in mitose, switches off to cytoplasm. Understood? This is the fate of acetyl coenzyme A. If under fed state, pyruvate will keep on forming this, it will keep on entering TCA, but when it comes to fasting, it will inhibit its own reaction, that is PDH complex will be inhibited, but it will activate another enzyme or through another pathway, that is pyruvate carboxylase. That is the first enzyme of the first step of gluconeogenesis. What repeat, Dr. Akshar? So what you can note down is important MCQs is acetyl coenzyme A is never glucogenic. Acetyl coenzyme A is not the first substrate of TCA cycle. I told you it enters TCA cycle. So what is the first substrate of TCA cycle? It is the first substrate TCA cycle. I told you it enters TCA cycle. So what is the first substrate of TCA cycle? It is the first substrate of TCA cycle, oxaloacetate. Oxaloacetate is also the first substrate of gluconeogenesis. Okay. Also, acetyl coenzyme A is not the intermediate of TCA. Okay, it's also not the carrier of TCA. All these statements have been there in the past in the MCQs. which are like all of the following statements about acetyl coenzyme A are true except, okay. How acetyl coenzyme A increases in fasting? You forgot this. In fasting, adipose tissue will also form fatty acids. Fatty acids will break down. In fasting, this acetyl coenzyme A will increase. See, what you are imagining is these steps are not happening at different times. They are happening simultaneously. If you are in a fasting state, liver will produce acetyl coenzyme A. Okay, liver is connected via all the body organs via good thing called blood, very high vascularity. Okay, so it will get redistributed overall. Otherwise, when you just shift from fed state to fasting, the pyruvate was converting continuously to acetyl coenzyme A. Suddenly you stop glucose, it will stop pyruvate, it will stop production of acetyl coenzyme A also. But yes, there will be a stage when acetyl coenzyme A will increase and it will inhibit its own production, because now it knows that the body requires some other thing but not me. Like, it does not require acetyl coenzyme A for TCA, for ketone. It requires for ketone body synthesis, plus it also requires for gluconeogenesis. Okay, or if you want, you can remember in a very simple fashion. Glycolysis, we have 2-3 things happening. Glycolysis link reaction, that is pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A. This is the connecting part. Then you have fatty acid breakdown, beta oxidation of fatty acids. Okay, then what you have is gluconeogenesis. Then what you have is, we have discussed only these reactions, right? Ketone body synthesis. You note down these reactions. Glycolysis is what? Catabolic. Link reaction is catabolic. Okay, beta oxidation is catabolic. Gluconeogenesis is catabolic. These two are related to insulin. These two are related to fed state. These three are related to fasting state. So whenever there is a fasting, gluconeogenesis has to happen, and for it to happen, acetyl coenzyme A has to switch pyruvate to form oxaloacetate by activating an enzyme called pyruvate carboxylase. Okay, either ways you can make a cycle for yourself and summarize so that you remember the things. So if you remember this basic logic, that what reaction is what, anabolic or catabolic, you can easily correlate that it is going to happen in fed state or it is going to happen in the fasting state. I hope I am clear now for the things which we have discussed so far. Because next what we are going to discuss is a small topic called diabetes in relation to the cell, not in relation to the medicine which you have done. Right? Please say yes or no. Understood? Not understood? Diabetes is nothing but fasting or starvation like state for the cell. Why? Person has eaten up a lot of carbohydrates, person has eaten up a lot of glucose, but there is no insulin. Either there is a defect in the insulin receptors or there is a shortage of insulin in the body. So what will happen is, the glucose will not reach the cell. So if glucose is not reaching the cell is going to show starvation or fasting signs and symptoms. So okay, so if there is fasting or starvation, again same thing, adipose tissue will break down, Under HSL will form fatty acids. Fatty acids will enter into blood. Via blood it will enter into liver. In liver it will show beta oxidation. It will form acetyl coenzyme A. This acetyl coenzyme A has to undergo 3 roles again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, TCA, ketone body synthesis, gluconeogenesis, activation. That is why you see a patient of diabetes, if it's like patient of diabetes, usually show decrease in the muscle mass because their fat reserves are getting depleted over a period of time. This is a classical sign in diabetes, weight loss and all at times. But yes, the situation changes when there is a chronic diabetes. Okay. Also, patients of diabetes show ketoacidosis. This is the source of ketoacidosis. Ketone bodies are increasing. But what happens in chronic diabetes cases? Very long-standing diabetes patient, sugar always is in a higher state. Then what happens is, okay, there is excess amount of acetyl coenzyme A in the liver because of beta oxidation, and this gets converted to formation of endogenous fat, that is triglyceride. It converts to VLDL. Also, synthesis of cholesterol takes place. That is why a patient of long-standing diabetes, always on high sugar, will show increase in VLDL values and will get more of obesity. Chronic diabetes, okay, not a recent case of diabetes. Agreed? So this is the major difference between a normal cell and a diabetes cell. Diabetes cell always behaves like as if it is a state of fasting or starvation. Now, last topic in this is we have seen glucose converting to fats. Okay, this is a glucose, glucose will form fats by excess glucose in diabetes and other situations will ultimately leads to formation of fats. But fats, when we say conversion to glucose, is not happening directly. It is a very misnomer, it is a very layman term when we say fats are broken down to form glucose. This is actually not happening. Okay, fats are never, for biochemistry, remember, fats are never getting converted to glucose directly. It is an indirect pathway. Okay, what happens is, it's a long series. They get conversion basically through the beta oxidation taking place. Then a lot of things are happening. Acetyl coenzyme A is forming. Acetyl coenzyme A will form glucose first through gluconeogenesis, and then that glucose can be, you can say, is being actually formed. But it's a long cycle. Okay, we will do that in carbohydrates. Okay, but yes, there are two exceptions to this. One is glycerol and second is propionic acid. Glycerol and propionic acid are only two fats which can form glucose directly, and it's an important MCQ. Glycerol is a product of triglyceride hydrolysis. Okay, Propionic acid is a product of breakdown product of odd chain fatty acids. Odd chain fatty acids. Right? So remember these two fats which get converted to carbohydrates or glucose basically. Right? So this is all we have to do in the basics. So this chapter is done. Right now it's 7:10. Let's take 15 minutes break. Then we start with enzymes. 7:25 p.m.